A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Good evening, Buckeye Nation, and welcome to tonight's episode of the Scarlet and Gray Podcast. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Mr. Nick Leisure, Jordan Dalton. Gentlemen, a little bit of a Wednesday night show. How are you guys doing this evening?
You're muted, JD. You're muted, bro.
I unmuted myself and then it muted. No, yeah, not doing bad. Thanks for adjusting the schedule so that I could be on the show and tell you how bad my record is overall. But in my picks, but yeah, excited to talk about Ohio State and Michigan State and everything good and everything bad.
I'd say I'm doing well. You know, coming off back-to-back natties in our online dynasty in NCAA football, but took a massive L today. The Huskies just did not come ready to play against Jordan's Kent State Flashes at home. Just an embarrassing loss today, but we will bounce back. It's only week one. Got the whole rest of the season to build back up. Got to make another playoff run. So, but yeah, like Jordan said, ready to talk Buckeyes, Sparty. It was a great weekend. Excited to get into it.
Yeah, a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, guys, if you are joining us on YouTube, again, if you would, just take that quick second, drop a like on the video if you would, please. Help that YouTube algorithm grow. But also subscribe if you're brand new to the channel as we put out there weekly Ohio State football content. We also are going to be making a little bit of a switch for you guys. We put a poll on Twitter at the SG_podcast on Twitter to kind of see, do you guys prefer the game day previews on Saturday mornings? Do you prefer, would you be more likely to watch and tune into them on Friday? So starting this week, we are going to be releasing the game day previews on Friday morning. That way, and of course, resharing again on Saturday. But that way, you guys have a good day to watch it. And again, thank you everyone that put in comments to as what is better for you. We want to make sure we accommodate the audience the best we can. So thank you guys so much for that. So your Ohio State versus Iowa game day preview will be available Friday morning. So make sure you guys are keeping an eye out for that. Well, guys, before we get to Iowa, Ohio State's coming off a pretty big win on Saturday night, going to East Lansing, taking down Michigan State 38-7. I'll admit, JD, you know this, we did not have the Buckeyes covering, and they did just that. I mean, they looked from the get-go pretty dominant in this game. What did you guys see from the Buckeyes? Like, what were some of your takeaways from this game?
Defense was definitely a little shaky to start. I think Michigan State really came out with a great plan. They really I thought they exposed the linebackers in coverage a lot. They went a lot of play action early, got Childs kind of comfortable. He didn't really hurt us with his legs, but, I mean, I thought he threw the ball really well in the first half. But it just felt like every time Michigan State would get into the red zone, the Buckeyes would just force a turnover. So, I mean, they did a really great job of forcing turnovers with their back against the walls. But, yeah, I mean, the defense was a little shaky. But then, I mean, after halftime, it was just lights out. I think Michigan State only had like 66 yards after the first half. So, I mean, they really buckled down. And, I mean, the offense did their thing like we knew they would.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Nick. I did notice TJ had brought it up on the last show on the game preview about wanting to see more sacks from the defense. And I don't think we saw a single sack. Maybe one and a half, maybe. Let me see.
We had 4 sacks on Saturday, actually.
4 sacks.
They had 4. Yeah.
Didn't
feel like it.
None from the big two. So I don't think Jack Sawyer or JT got in. And that was kind of.
Nope. JT had 1. I missed that too.
So yeah, it wasn't like a big showing defensively on the sack side, but it was definitely one of those games where we knew kind of going from the previous games that the rushing quarterbacks were going to be a weak point for Ohio State's defense, and Childs kind of took advantage of that early. But they were able to bottle them up towards the end of the game. And like by the third quarter, that game was over. So I think they did a pretty great job.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that we're continuously seeing with Ohio State is this defense just comes out, and I don't know what it is. The defense to me is always shaky at the beginning of the game, and I have no idea why that is. Michigan State didn't score coming out of the game, but they were able to move the ball. And kind of like you said, Nick, if it wasn't for some turnovers, I mean, who knows what would have happened, because Michigan State would just keep marching the ball down the field. They were having some early success in the run game. Obviously, the run stats are going to be brought down a lot lower because of Aiden Childs being sacked 4 times. He had -9 rushing yards. But overall, I mean, the defense did settle in, but we're continuously seeing lapses from this defense. And this is a group. I'm so confused on how we're seeing lapses from a defense that everybody is back besides basically Caleb Downs being a new starter. And so as you're getting deeper into Big Ten play here, that's something that is going to have to be cleaned up, and I'm hoping the Buckeyes do it. But, guys, my takeaway is you're starting to really see why Ohio State went out and gave Caleb Downs the money that they did, because this right now, if Caleb Downs declared for the NFL draft, he's probably a top 15 pick, because there are guys at the safety position that just don't move like he does.
Yeah, dude. I mean, every time he makes there's a play in particular I saw on Twitter. It was a receiver screen, and he just flew up and completely just blew it up. Like, the receiver caught the ball and they just got drilled immediately. I feel like when he gets downhill and he just sees ball, hit ball, his closing speed is just incredible. And like you said, he just moves so quick, and his reaction time is just incredible. So he's been really fun to watch, and he's really starting to get the flow of the defense, and he's really starting to, I think, kind of blossom into what we expected.
Yeah, I actually said I wanted to see a Caleb Downs splash play, and that exact play was the one that stood out in my mind. It's like it hasn't been that he hasn't been making plays this year, but it's more so like you don't see him pop off the screen. If you watch the Browns, you see JOK. JOK pops off the screen when he makes a play. That's who made that play. Just the way he flies in there. And I wanted to see Caleb Downs do that a few times, and he did. And that exact play that Nick's talking about on that wide receiver screen where he came in and made that hit, I was just like, all right, that's the Caleb Downs I thought we were getting from Alabama. And you would definitely are seeing it more each week. He's starting to really find that groove in the defense, and I think he's kind of settling in that leadership role as well. So very, very good job from him on Saturday.
It's very, very encouraging to see from him for sure. He and Sonny Styles led the Buckeyes in tackles. Jack Sawyer actually had 5 tackles in this game, including 3 solos. So it's good to see Jack and JT Tuimoloau each having pretty impactful games. It looks like, even though sometimes we might not see it on the field in the stat sheet at least. They did perform pretty well. Nick's boy, CJ Hicks, actually had half a sack in this game. So CJ ended up making a play, again, late, but still made a play. Jermaine asks us, Iowa, should we be scared? Should we be scared? In Jeremiah Smith versus Ryan Williams debate, can I enjoy both play? They're both phenomenal wide receivers. We'll get to some of this with the Iowa. We're going to talk extensive on Iowa for the game day preview, and then we will talk here in a second about Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams because we had a nice shout out from Sports Center that we'll acknowledge. But guys, I mean, on the defensive side of the ball, they did hold Michigan State to 7 points. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy that we say the defense looked shaky because the reality is they did. They still held them to 7 points. I mean, it's kind of crazy because we have to find things to talk about with this team, but they also are just – the scoreboard just shows they're dominating. And it's the complete opposite of another football team we root for currently.
Yeah. Phew. Yeah. So, anyways, the Ohio State Buckeyes, their offense has been pretty much what we expected with Chip Kelly running it. The flow of the offense has been so much better than we've seen in years past. Just the way that he's mixing and run pass, setting up different types of plays, getting the quarterback out of the pocket. I will say this is probably Will Howard's worst game of the season, just because he did throw an interception. So first interception of the season, he threw quite a few balls that should have been picked off that weren't, and just made some bad late decisions trying to force the ball. But overall, he seems like he's the one that's the leader in the doghouse in the quarterback room, and really is he's doing a good job, honestly.
I think the big thing for me, I saw this stat today that On 3 Sports from Letterman Row, they posted this about Will Howard. So Will Howard is completing 68.6% of his passes this year, which is a career high. He is also completing 19 of 27, so 70% between 10 to 19 yards, which is also a career high. So I'm going to say this. I've said I need to see more from him down the field. But when you see it in perspective like that, I mean, it's easy to say Will Howard has taken a giant step from his days at Kansas State to where he is at Ohio State. How much credit does Chip Kelly deserve for that? I
think he deserves a ton, because he's the one that's in that quarterback room, and he's the one that's coaching those guys straight up. I mean, you can even give him credit for Devin Brown and coming in there and being able to find a touchdown on his first play. And I think Chip Kelly was the fit we didn't like. He's the guy we didn't know we needed for this offense. And go ahead.
I was gonna say we're finally starting to see like some of the wrinkles, like we're definitely starting to see like some of the Chip Kelly effect on the offense, like the receivers, like the receiver reverse that we saw from JJ this weekend. Like, that was sweet. Didn't expect that, they're just getting him the ball different ways. I mean, involving the two running backs. I think we saw a couple like Will Howard design runs this week too. So, I mean, just little things that you just see him sprinkle in every week. I mean, I feel like they don't feel like they have to show stuff like that. But at the same time, they're letting teams know, like, hey, this is in our bag too. Yeah. You have to be ready for everything. And we're going to get our playmakers the ball in a bunch of different ways. And we're starting to really see it now, which is fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think, too, with Will Howard, the thing I like to see from him is one area Ohio State struggled in last year was the intermediate passing game. Like, don't get me wrong. We threw it down the field to Marv plenty. I mean, as you should. But the intermediate passing game was kind of where we struggled a little bit last year. You can tell with Will Howard, they're in a really good groove with him throwing it down the field a little bit. So that's really nice to see there. Now I got to bring it up. So Jeremiah Smith, guys, I mean, at this point, I don't even really know what there is to say about the kid. I mean, he only had, and I say only, 5 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. It doesn't seem like it. I mean, he also had an end-around rushing touchdown. But to bring up what Jermaine was saying, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, I think the reality is it too early to say that these young receivers, these two, are two of the best in college football, even though they've only played 4 games in their college career?
I'll say they're 2 of the best. I'll say they're 2 of the best.
Okay.
They're not the 2 best. They're 2 of the best.
There's a chance by the end of the year, though, we're looking at those 2 as Blitnikoff Award finalists as true freshmen.
The only thing that I need to see from Williams, and this is being super nitpicky, obviously. I feel like you don't really see him do anything but run fast down the field. Like, you don't really see him turn like a 5-yard hitch into an 80-yard touchdown like we've seen Smith do. And just like the physical attributes between the 2 of them, Williams is much more. He's a lot smaller. He's like a Devontae Smith type kid right now. He's really skinny. But, dude, his, like, twitch muscles are insane. Like, he literally did, like, a half spin move, like, full stop, half spin move, made 2 guys run into each other, and then run for the 70-yard touchdown to take the lead against Georgia late in that game. It's like, what other kid are you seeing on a football field do that kind of things? But then you see Jeremiah just stick his hand out in the air to snag the ball out of midair. It's like, what are you supposed to do with that? So I think they're just both different. But I think Smith has the complete route tree, where Williams, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this year, just watching college football, those two guys are like the two guys that have made my jaw drop making plays on the football field. Like watching that Georgia-Alabama game and the way that Williams was able to save that win for Alabama at the end, I was like, I couldn't believe that. Not only like he had to come back to make the catch, and then the way that he was able to score off that play with two defenders right there, I was just like, that is like NFL talent right there. Yeah. Like as a 17-year-old. But then you watch the Ohio State Michigan game, Jeremiah Smith goes down there, one hand catch, guy grabbing his face mask, somehow pulls it in on the sideline. And then a couple plays later, one hand snag for the touchdown. And you're just like, how is this guy just now starting college? Like he could play on, and they were saying it during the broadcast, he could be playing on Sundays tomorrow. Like he's that good. And I agree with Nick. The only thing that would be holding Ryan Williams back from playing in the NFL is his frame. Like he's not a big guy. And granted, wide receivers, they come in all shapes and sizes, but the way that Jeremiah Smith is built, like that dude that's Julio Jones 2.0 right there.
Yeah. I
mean,
the
thing is, Smith blocks. Like, yeah, I mean, that's the big thing.
That's the only reason he's on the field right now.
I would say we've talked about it in the past with Heartline. Like, if you want to play receiver at Ohio State, you have to block. If you don't want to block, you're not going to play. That's just plain and simple. The run game is first. That's how it's always been since Ryan Day's been here. They want to get the run game going first. Passing will come secondary. So if you can't block, you're not going to see the field. And he's out there blocking as a true freshman. So,
I mean, a testament to that is Ibuka got into it with one of the DBs from Michigan State because he pancaked him onto the ground, put the guy on his back, and then the guy gets upset that he just got pancaked by a wide receiver. And Ibuka is like I think he ended up posting something on social media, just being like, "Hey, they're calling me soft. Like I had to prove them wrong."
Yeah, I do remember that one too. That was funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talk about Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. I mean, Nick, you kind of said it. When you're saying that about Ryan Williams, to be fair, I don't know if I've seen Bama. And again, I've only watched Alabama maybe twice, 3 times at the most this year so far. All they do is have him running deep. It doesn't seem like now with Ryan Williams, they don't really, I mean, to be fair, I guess they really don't need him to do anything else. But no, I agree with you. I think that is what separates the two. Jeremiah Smith can run any route that you need him to. Right now, Ryan Williams just runs deep. But
you said, that might be all they need him to do. So
Exactly. So, I mean, but that is definitely, I think, like the big difference between the two. But, I mean, at this point, to say they are the two best, it is a little premature. But shout out to SportsCenter for recognizing our tweet and actually sharing it on all their social sites. So we do appreciate that shout out from SportsCenter. Again, if you haven't seen the tweet, it's not crazy to say that Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams are the two best wide receivers in college football right now. It'll be a fun conversation to visit the more we get into the season. And something else to talk about at the end of the year, depending on how these guys finish, is should the NFL be changing their criteria for draft eligible prospects? So again, that'll be an interesting conversation for the end of the year. But the other thing I wanted to get to, guys, on the offensive side of the ball, Travion Henderson, 7 carries, 69 yards rushing. Quinshon Judkins, 11 carries, 54 yards. Did you guys think the Buckeyes struggled a little bit to run the ball in this game?
Yeah, I did. That was something I had noted just on the first couple of drives. Like we were having a really hard time running the ball. And really the only thing that saved us was Will Howard and his ability to spread it out and get it to the playmakers. So, yeah, I think that was definitely something Michigan State had keyed on. And they're like, hey, we got to stop this run game if we want to have a chance. And they were able to do it. But it just shows how much talent Ohio State has on offense that it didn't really hinder their performance.
Yeah, I mean, like Jordan hit it. I mean, it just, they just kind of struggled, and like you said too, it's like they knew that the run game was going to be super important for Ohio State. But then, I mean, then you have to worry about all the weapons that they have on the outside. Like Ibuka had a really good game. Yeah. When you can get him going and get him moving down the field, like he's still one of the best in the nation, and he's showing it in these last couple of games. He's really starting to get a groove. So I just really love that they're starting to get him involved in a lot of other ways too. Like they're not just hitting him in the middle of the field; they're getting him involved on like the tunnel screens and short intermediate stuff that he's turning into big plays. So, I mean, sometimes the run game isn't going your way, but luckily at Ohio State we got plenty of weapons everywhere else that we can get the ball moving down the field still.
The only bone I have to pick on offense is for the life of me, you have Bennett Christian, Will Kazmarek, G. Scott G. I mean, he had a touchdown. How is Jelani Thurman not playing above Bennett Christian and Will Kazmarek, especially when Kazmarek had just an awful play.
Awful penalty.
Dude, like, there's clearly more to this than what we know. Like, I know there's a rumor that Jelani Thurman's, like, just hasn't practiced well. I'll just say it that way because I'm not going to openly say what's been said about certain athletes and whatnot. But, this guy's the most talented from a talent perspective in the room. And, man, this guy doesn't get any reps until the backups come in. Like, there just has to be more than meets the eye there because, again, this is no disrespect to G. Scott Jr. It's no disrespect to Will Kazmarek or Bennett Christian. Jelani Thurman gives you a legit weapon at the tight end position, and I just, for the life of me, I cannot understand why he has no part of this offense at all. And for the majority of the year, he hasn't, outside of one pass play against Western Michigan where he could have caught a touchdown potentially. It's just so odd to me, guys. It really is.
We're not in the Woody Hayes Center every day.
That's what
They know more than we do. So it's like we understand that like there's such a high ceiling for him and his athletic ability, but I mean, if he's not showing, Ryan Day what he wants to see in practice every week, it's like if you're not going to do what we need you to do, then you're not going to see the field. That's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a matter of he just doesn't know the playbook, or he
could be that too.
He doesn't want to block in the run game. Like,
maybe he's just a terrible blocker, and we just don't know. Like on paper, he should be playing, but there's a lot more factors than you would get if you're playing college football 25, like they're not going to automatically know the playbook, right?
Yeah. Hey, it's true. No, I get it. And there is.
It is frustrating though, because we know the talent's there.
What's going to be really frustrating is when he enters the transfer portal. That's what's going to be really frustrating. I'm just saying it now because I can see the writing's on the wall. That's all. The writing's clearly on the wall there. But,
I mean, but if he wasn't good enough to play at Ohio State, there might be something. There might be a reason for it. And just because he has all the talent in the world doesn't mean we should be putting him on the field.
Yeah. I agree. Fair enough. Seriously, fair enough. I mean, again, we'll see what happens with him. I think the writing clearly seems to be on the wall that he isn't. They probably isn't going to be here. I mean, if he's not getting any reps by the end of the year, I don't see any reason he stays, especially when you're bringing in two more, bringing a 4-star tight end, Nate Roberts, next year. You're bringing another athlete to tight end position with Brock Lennon. So Brody Lennon, my apologies. So they're bringing in guys at the position. I guess we'll see what happens there. But anyway, I mean, we've covered the offense, covered the defense.
You want to talk about Devin Brown coming in and throwing that seed? I know that there's two of us here that thought it was a great pass. Mm-hmm. The third did not think it was a good pass.
I love to turn this to the audience because if there's anyone
honestly, I mean,
this has been a debate amongst us.
From my viewpoint, he put it where only Jeremiah Smith could get the ball. If he puts that ball anywhere else, it's not a touchdown. But
TJ said it was a great catch, not a great.
it was both. I think it was both. Travion had a great blitz pickup. Devin Brown kind of had to move out of the pocket just a tad and threw it right on the money. And that's coming in cold off the bench, too.
Yeah.
So
does anyone else catch that besides Jeremiah Smith?
Probably not. Probably not, because he put it where only Jeremiah Smith could get it. I didn't say he put it where only an Ohio State Buckeye could get it. I said he put it only where Jeremiah Smith could get it.
It's the F it, Jeremiah Smith is down there somewhere.
Correct. Hey, man, you got to give props to him, though. I know you're a Devin Brown hater for some reason, but
I'm not a Devin Brown hater.
The biggest
100%. You 100% are a Devin Brown hater.
I have said this from the get. Okay.
But he came in, threw a touchdown, contributed to the game in a positive manner, and I was happy for him.
I gave Devin Brown the fact that Devin Brown came in after not basically having any throws and throwing a touchdown. That was impressive. I just think it was more of, and again, we're going to agree to disagree. I think it was more Jeremiah Smith than it was Devin Brown. Again, but the fact Devin Brown came off the bench with no warm-ups and threw a touchdown, that's not easy to do by any means. And that at the end of the first half, he had a great series that got us points at the end of the half, which gave us a lot of momentum going into the third quarter. But I do personally think Jeremiah Smith made that play more so than Devin Brown. It's an opinion. It really is. That's just either way. It was like the fact that he stepped in a time where there was a little bit of chaos for Ohio State. Will Howard gets hurt. Obviously there's an injury timeout, and they were in the process of trying to score right before the half. And it also shows the confidence the coaching staff has in Devin Brown that they are willing to throw right out of a timeout like that after a quarterback picks up an injury. So seriously, kudos for Devin Brown for doing that. I thought it was interesting since you brought Devin Brown up.
Here we go.
I thought it was interesting that they were both getting thrown on the sideline before. No, it's interesting because that normally does not happen. There's normally one backup that's thrown on the sideline in case.
Each other to warm each other up.
No. You could see. Sand was throwing to one guy. Brown was throwing to one guy. And there were even people say they don't know which one is coming in. Because Ryan Day has said every week now, maybe it'll change this week after Devin Brown threw a touchdown and Julian Sand threw a deep ball that he shouldn't have thrown, even though I thought it was great. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, you just don't do that in that moment.
That's 4th and 1. I know. Why are you taking a 50-yard bomb down the field? You need 1 yard, dude.
He's doing what I would do.
That's
but again, you don't
freshman in him.
You don't do that. I agree. You don't do that. But anyway, what Ryan Day says this week will be interesting because every week he has said that the backup job is open. He said Devin Brown's a little bit ahead, but he's not named a true backup. So that part is interesting to me because he's not saying oh yeah, Devin Brown's going to be the backup the rest of the year.
He doesn't want to give all the Julian Sand clicks to everybody that everybody is just waiting for. He just wants him to say Julian Sand's the backup at Ohio State, and he's never going to say it this year. Not once. I guarantee it.
He's trying to keep that competition alive in the room, baby.
Yep. Just they're going to make each other better every week by doing that.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Correct.
Push each other for greatness.
I agree. Is there anything else you guys want to add on Ohio State and Michigan State before we kind of move on to the games this past weekend?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I got just a quick question. I'm going to pros. What are we thinking about field aid right now? Confident?
Yeah, it's fine. I think he's fine. Yeah.
I think he's fine. Yeah. I think it sounded like he was injured.
Yeah, I think he legitimately was hurt and then just didn't pull himself out of the game.
That's what it seems like, at least. So, I mean, I'm not worried right now. It's interesting you mentioned that, though, because Ohio State did go after Andrew Nicholson, the Luke Rosa Award winner that transferred from Miami of Ohio to Alabama. Ohio State was one of the teams interested there. Alabama gave him a good amount of money.
Imagine giving the kicker a bag.
They did. They
That's
did.
amazing.
Imagine him kicking a field goal to win the national championship.
It's like, yep, that paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. But, I mean, it brings up a good point. I mean, if they were super confident in Jaden Fielding, why would they go after a kicker? But, I mean, at the same time, the way I look at that is you're going after the Luke Rosa Award winner who won it as a junior. Like, at that point, I mean, I would do that too. I'm going to make my team as good as I possibly can in every single facet of the game. So, but
Flex.
I trust Fielding, though. I mean, until he gives me a reason not to. But, yeah, that's at least where I'm at with it. One thing about this past college football weekend, guys, I think it is time, and I'm sure you guys are starting to notice this as well. Ohio State, right before they play Michigan, they're going to play Indiana at home. Indiana is now in the top 25. Is it time to take Indiana seriously as a Big Ten title contender? Because if you look at their schedule, I mean, right now it's hard to see with the way they're playing right now. They go to Northwestern. They're gonna play Washington at home. They get Michigan at home. They play Nebraska at home. They go to Michigan State before they come to Ohio State. I'll be honest, guys. With that schedule, they might only lose 1 or 2 games. Like, I think Indiana is for real.
I can't say they're for real yet because they really haven't played anybody. I think they're tough. I think they're kind of on the same level that Illinois is. Illinois was, undefeated going into that matchup, ranked against Penn State. Gave Penn State a pretty tough game. Indiana really hasn't played anybody that UCLA, they blew them out. Maryland's not great this year.
You're okay.
Yeah. We'll start talking after the Nebraska game, and if they can get through the rest of that Big Ten schedule pretty handedly, and then their matchup against Michigan it's going to be Michigan, and then we'll kind of know what we're getting when we play them the next week. So
I will say, dude, they're putting up points. Like
they are putting up.
They're putting up a lot of points. I think their quarterback transferred, I think, from OU, didn't he? Did he come from Ohio?
Yeah.
So, like, dude, this is this kid's 6th year of college football. So it's
Rourke and his brother actually played for OU as well, and is in the Canadian Football League currently.
Yeah, so it's like they got an experienced guy, and correct me if I'm wrong. The head coach, he came from James Madison, right?
Yeah, that was
Indiana. So he brought a bunch of his guys over with him. So it's like that play is going to transfer. You
said he won a national championship at James Madison.
I think
he went undefeated last year.
I think he won a title when they were not D1. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but it's like he knows how to coach. I mean, he can coach it. So, and now that he's got a quarterback that can sling the rock a little bit, it's been pretty entertaining.
I saw an interview with Kurt Signetti. I think that's his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were asking him why, he should be considered, why people should take Indiana seriously this season. And he's like, look at my record. He's like, I win everywhere I go. And it was like, but then you look at it and they're undefeated.
It's like, yeah, you're right.
It was like, when's the last time Indiana was 5-0 to start a season? I don't know. We'll see. I think they still have to prove it against some better competition, but I think they're up there.
I mean, what's crazy is they will play Michigan at home November 9th. They have a bye week, and then they come to the shoe. So, I mean.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're going to see. I mean, again, I think we'll see where things end up. They could end up being a dark horse in the Big Ten. But we'll see what ends up happening there. What else caught your eye from around the country? I think something that caught my eye is that clearly Michigan one, they just won't be able to throw the football this year. That's pretty apparent, what I noticed. But also, Donovan Edwards might be the most overrated running back in the country. Again, it's just monumental to me and just crazy the fact that this guy's a cover athlete on a video game, yet he's getting outrushed by his backup every single week. And up until about 2 weeks ago, he was being outrushed by James Peoples, the third-string running back at Ohio State. So I just had to say that because I think
Minnesota got screwed in that game, bro. Like,
yeah,
Minnesota monumentally got screwed on that onside kick at the end of the game. Like,
yeah,
that was such a
bad.
It's such a rough call, dude. Like to recover the onside kick, and then it's like, yep, actually offsides. Yeah, it's like that was brutal. So Michigan is definitely on fraud alert, 100%. But hey, how about those Kentucky Wildcats going down to Oxford, baby, and whooping up on Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin? I thought that was, dude, that game was exciting to watch. I watched the whole game, but it definitely caught a break. Backup quarterback runs a little QB power, fumbles, and it falls right into one of Kentucky's tight end's hands, who just happens to fall into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown, essentially. So it's a great game from them. That's their highest-ranked opponent that they've beat since like 1970-something. So incredible win for them. That defense is legit down there.
Yeah, I was going to say that was something you had said. You're like, the defense is good, and they proved it. That was Ole Miss's worst offensive performance of the season. Yeah, that was a great game. It definitely caught some breaks. Missed field goal at the end there.
Oh, yeah.
Just shanked it left. But, you kind of need some big breaks like that. Barrion Brown had a big play there to get him into scoring position.
Fourth down, too.
Yeah. So they were able to put it together. And, yeah, I was very excited for that game. Another game that caught my eye, I thought this game was going to be close, and it ended up not being close. So the Kansas State Oklahoma State game, Kansas State absolutely train wrecked Oklahoma State.
I'm done picking Oklahoma State. Done.
Yeah. No more.
They're on my do not pick list.
Kansas State just went absolutely bananas. I think they ended up winning 42-14 or something.
Yeah,
maybe it might have been worse. Yeah, it was just not a great game.
And one more Big Ten game. How about Wisconsin just falling apart against USC? They take the lead. They have the lead most of the game. I turned the game off, and then I flip it back over, and USC's up like double digits. I'm like, what the heck just happened? I didn't watch any of the game. I just saw the score. I mean, what's going on with Wisconsin, man? Do they just not have an identity right now? I don't know what's going on with Luke Fickell.
I think that's part of it. I think you're right there. It's like they can play good ball, but I don't think they have anything to fall back on. So if something goes wrong offensively and they get let's say they have success running to the right, and then USC shuts it down, they kind of they don't really know what to do next. And that's kind of what it seems like they taper off during their games. So it's got to be rough to be a Badgers fan right now.
Yeah. I mean, if Luke Fickell wasn't only in his second year, you'd wonder what his job status is, but he's not going anywhere, but Wisconsin's struggling mightily. No, those are some good observations. Obviously Georgia and Alabama so far is the game of the year.
That game was awesome.
We can only, and Kalen DeBoer nearly getting death threats if they would have blown that lead. That's the other thing too. Great game. Alabama won. But for people that tuned in that fourth quarter, Alabama was absolutely massacring Georgia in that first half. And it's just, I'll give Georgia credit. I'll give Carson Beck credit because I felt like he's been overrated. And I even said as much. He battled and he got them back in that game and played very well in that second half. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's what you got to do. But it was satisfying. Even though I am not an Alabama fan, seeing Georgia lose, very satisfying.
Well, dude, it's just more credit to Beck too, and then we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
to do that against Bama's defense when they know that you're throwing the ball. You have to throw no matter what. Like, you are getting you have to come out and throw. And for Carson Beck to still play the way he did in that second half, I mean, yeah, that kind of put him back on the radar as being one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Because, I mean, there for a while, he really wasn't doing anything that was impressive, you know? Mm-hmm. So that atmosphere looked crazy. I mean, a night game at Tuscaloosa, I feel like there's probably nothing like it. So, yeah, they definitely both balled out. So
Georgia's defense really stepped up, shutting down Jalen Milroe to that last drive.
Yeah,
there was like 4 or 5 possessions where they were 3 and out, and like they really stepped up to get them back into that game. And when Georgia took the lead, you're just like, I can't believe they fell apart like that. And then Milroe was able to.
Well, and even Georgia, they had a chance at the end. They still had a chance at the end of the game to get the ball back and try to score. Like, then a true freshman makes the game-winning interception in the end zone. You just couldn't ask for anything more out of that game.
Yeah, it was great.
It was fantastic. Fantastic game. I also think, too, just Illinois, they started off well against Penn State. And that was it. I mean, they had one good. It reminds me of watching football on Sundays. The first drive looks great. After that, it just goes downhill, and that's what seemed to happen with Illinois. Illinois, for whatever reason, they just couldn't really do much. I know they missed a couple field goals too. That didn't help, but against Penn State, you need touchdowns. I mean, Penn State. I can say this so far from watching them a couple times. Penn State looks improved. Drew Aller. Looks much improved as well. So that's going to be a challenging game coming up, of course, here in the next couple weeks. But, guys, how did you do this past week with your picks?
I was 4-4. I was 5-3, dude. I was only one better.
I went 7-1.
7-1.
Utah let me down.
Overall, man.
Utah let me down against Arizona. I could have gone 8-0. I'm 17-7 on the year now.
Yeah, I'm 16-8.
13-11.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hey, plenty of time to bounce back.
Is there a good slate this week?
Not really.
I haven't looked, to be honest.
There really isn't.
The slate on the 12th is really good.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's going to be an insane day.
USC, Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon.
UK and Vandy.
No, let's go.
So let's start off. I'm just going to try and find some that I think are going to be intriguing. I'm doing this based off like the line I'm seeing. So first off, we're going to go on a Friday night matchup. It's going to be Syracuse at 25th ranked UNLV.
Oh.
Undefeated UNLV.
Yeah.
Correct.
At UNLV.
Dude, yeah. I'm going to take UNLV, man. They're running Rebels at home. Syracuse got to go across the country, going out to Vegas. Yeah, give me UNLV.
I got UNLV as well. Every time I trust Kyle McCord, he lets me down. I've learned my lesson. So
UNLV, Syracuse, Orange.
What's the line?
-6.5 for UNLV.
I'm gonna hammer the Orange, baby. Let's go.
Orange.
All right. Okay. It's a 9 o'clock kickoff.
Jeez.
Oh, same time as
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock West Coast.
Yeah, same time as Michigan State and Oregon kicking off on Friday night as well.
That's gonna be a snoozer, dude. Lanning's gonna beat the crap out of them.
That's why I didn't even have us pick it, because I feel like that's just too easy. All right. Honestly, one of the bigger games of the weekend, number 9 Missouri at 25th ranked Texas A&M.
Ooh, tough place to play. A&M only a field goal favorite?
At home, too, yeah.
I'm going to go with Missouri. I have not been impressed by Texas A&M this year.
Dude, I'm going to go Mizzou as well.
Same, because I don't even know who's playing quarterback at Texas A&M anymore.
Yeah,
not that matters, because they haven't played well
Dude,
anyway.
You're right, though. This slate of games is kind of poopy.
Why did they have UNLV and Texas A&M both 25?
I don't know.
Oh, they do.
I'm looking at
That's
ESPN's
bizarre.
rankings. It's
That's bizarre. They are both 25.
What do they have UNLV?
25.
What do they have Texas A&M?
25.
How?
I don't know.
Dude, I don't know, man. Ask him a call.
Oh, shoot. Ooh, I have a good game that we could pick.
What is it?
Number 12, Ole Miss, going to Columbia to take on South Carolina.
Funny enough, that was actually one of them I was going to have us pick.
Both.
Give me the Gamecocks.
One loss.
Give me the Gamecocks.
Ooh, I don't know.
Ole Miss coming off a loss, but now they're going on the road.
Hotty toddy, dude. Give me Ole Miss.
They couldn't stop the defense last week, so now they're going to be able to stop one of the best pass rushers in Dylan Stewart. I don't know.
I'm going to go Ole Miss as well. I think they bounce back.
Yeah, hotty toddy, dude. Ole Miss.
All right,
dude. Yeah,
I'm a lone wolf on that
one.
Ooh,
dude. I think you already know a game I'm thinking.
Rutgers at Nebraska.
Not what I was thinking, but sure.
Okay, Rutgers at Nebraska.
Dude, that's actually going to be a great game. Rutgers is tough.
What's the line?
Nebraska's a 7-point favorite, which is incredibly interesting because Rutgers is undefeated coming in. Coming big win against Washington.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. Can we come back to that one?
yeah, we can. We can come back to that one. Nick, what game were you going to suggest?
Number 10, Michigan, going out west at Washington. Washington's a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
Wow, they're favorites?
Yeah.
Coming off a loss?
They know something we don't know, dude.
Well, they know Michigan can't throw the football.
I'm taking Washington.
They've only played at home.
I'm taking Washington with the upset, dude.
I'm going to go with Michigan in this game.
I'm going to go with Michigan as well. These Pac-12 teams can't stop the run. Seriously. Right now in the trenches, they cannot stop the run. So until I see otherwise, I'm going to unfortunately
You're going to see otherwise on Saturday night.
Dude, I hope so.
I do too.
I want to see Michigan lose. I don't want to be right.
That's the NBC primetime game.
That's a goodness gracious.
What kind of action's going on this weekend? Anything good? No, there's nothing good.
Miami of Ohio at Toledo, but Miami of Ohio has won one game, and yeah, I don't know. That's kind of crappy. Let's see here. Here's an interesting one. I mean, we're probably all going to pick the same, but Tennessee, 4th-ranked Tennessee at Arkansas, 7:30 kickoff.
Tennessee.
Are you kidding me? That's a freebie.
Where are they? Who they playing?
At Arkansas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Razorback.
Hey, all right. Can we do this one?
Yeah.
UCF at Florida.
Ooh, that's spicy.
It's a really spicy game.
Taking Florida.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, dude, the way UCF looked against Colorado,
yeah,
that was pretty suspect, man.
At home, too.
Is Lagway starting? Or is it Mertz?
It's a timeshare.
Oh, gosh. That's terrible.
UCF.
Yeah, dude.
If you look at –
I don't know. UCF 2.5-point favorites going to Florida, Gainesville.
Florida's last game. Listen, I understand it was Mississippi State's not great, but Florida looked. Florida looked a lot better. I don't think Graham Mertz only had 1 or 2 incompletions in that game. I mean,
dude, that's an interesting one.
It's really interesting. I'm leaning towards UCF in this game.
So am I. But, dude, playing in the swamp at night, I'm taking Florida. I think they'll have the juice.
I got Florida in this game.
UCF coming off the loss. Yeah, I'm gonna take UC. I'm gonna take Florida. I mean,
I'm gonna go Florida as well. But dude, I think
I think it's gonna be close. It's
Yeah.
gonna be really close.
All right. There was
Maybe one
another
more?
one. We got two more because we still have to pick the Rutgers-Nebraska game.
Well, yeah, which I still.
All right, here we go.
Oh gosh.
8. Now again, before this is where College Game Day is. Funny enough, this weekend. Number 8 Miami at Cal, 10:30 kickoff.
Ew.
Dude, yeah, ew.
Ew, dude. 10:30 kickoff.
West Coast. That's
Get-
Are
why.
they the same conference now
Game
as
days out
California and
there.
ACC?
Yeah, Cal's in the ACC now.
Oh,
Dude.
That's a weird. I don't know, man. That's a weird.
Cal's 3-1.
Miami
They're
could
lo-
be sleeping
they-
in this game.
So Cal lost to
Cal play.
Florida State.
14-9. Ew.
Give me Miami, dude.
Yeah, give me Miami.
Miami's a 10-point favorite.
All I had to see was that Florida State beat them 14-9. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Miami.
And
That's
then
rough.
Rutgers at Nebraska. The primetime game.
Well, it's
4
not.
o'clock
It's,
on FS1.
It's our.
it's one of the better afternoon games.
Gosh,
That's,
dude.
I mean,
Nebraska, 7-point favorite at home.
I'm going to go Nebraska because I don't think in a game like this that Rutgers has enough in the passing game because I think Rutgers is going to be trailing.
Yeah, Rutgers,
don't think-
they struggled with Washington last week.
I don't think Rutgers has enough in the passing game. I don't think Kalamakis, whatever that dude, Ethan, we'll call him Ethan. I don't think he can do enough to beat Nebraska on the road. I think Dylan Wright. I think the advantage at quarterback is Nebraska. So with Dylan Raiola, that's where I'm going. And they're at home. Good luck.
Give me the Temu, Patrick Mahomes. Give me Nebraska. I
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nebraska as well. I
think it'll be a close one though. I think
Rutgers has had some.
I think Rutgers could cover though. I think Rutgers could cover. So I think it's gonna be close.
Yeah.
Give me Nebraska as well. I know that's not an exciting pick, but
Hey.
my record needs some wins.
We're not going to pick this game, but I do. But do you guys think? And again, this is more of just curiosity. Does Vanderbilt have any chance to upset Alabama on Saturday? Alabama
0%.
coming off a huge win. Vanderbilt coming off where they just went to Missouri and took Missouri to overtime.
0% chance. I think Alabama blows them out and covers.
Steamroll.
All right. Just curious.
Milrow goes for 5 tutties combined. So
That's your answer.
Yeah, I was curious.
You heard it here first.
I need to make a big comeback here. Big comeback. Get a couple wins.
See, I feel like a lot of our picks were pretty similar, though.
I just need to chip away week by week.
Hey man,
We should have started parlaying this stuff. We wouldn't have won any money yet.
Dude, we
wouldn't have won any money yet.
literally. But JD, keep in mind, week 4, I went 4-4. So you could easily go 7-1 or 8-0 or something like that one week.
I'll just put $10 on each money line of the team I picked and see what happens.
Sounds like an easy way to lose money.
Sounds like an easy way to lose $80.
Literally.
Hey, but if I win, I'll slowly make profit. You see, it's a long game. It's not. We're not thinking big hitters.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to? Were there any other games that you guys wanted to pick? Obviously, the slate is pretty terrible, but I didn't know if there's anything else you guys wanted to.
We were definitely digging for games there.
How about this one?
We already have 8 though, bro.
Yeah, we have 8.
No. How about we do this? What if because we're overwhelmingly saying that the Tennessee Arkansas game doesn't matter.
No, we need an easy one. We need an easy dub.
Okay, I was gonna say USC at Minnesota. Okay, that's fine.
USC still. That's an easy dub.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's good. That's good. That's a good slate.
All right. We're good there. All right. Anything else you guys want to add before we it's a good stretch. Wrap up this episode.
Cavs Media Day was yesterday. Great to have the Cavaliers back in the building.
Well, they're in Florida. They're in Florida.
Well, whatever. Looking for a great season from them. Also, the Ohio State Buckeyes opened up camp yesterday. Jake Diebler, first-year head coach, got a lot of momentum. Got a really good roster. Really excited for them. Even though they were picked 8th, so that should give some fire to those Buckeyes down there in Columbus. Yeah,
experts don't know anything.
We got Guardians, Tigers playoff series starting on Saturday. First pitch, 1:00. Be there.
1:05. 1:05.
It's a ripoff, by the way. Oh my,
they don't like getting the Guardians prime time.
Major League Baseball needs to start showing the Guardians some respect. This is ridiculous.
Jose Ramirez is an historic baseball player.
Second best record in baseball, and we get the afternoon time slot.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, that's how it goes. We don't get
against the hottest team in baseball. The Detroit Tigers, don't sleep on them. They got Scooble. He's coming on the mound. Game 1. Tanner Beebe.
Guards in 3.
3.
Bring the brooms.
Sweep them out.
Bring the brooms.
I think it'll go 5.
I hope not.
I hope not.
For my wellness, I hope not.
Yeah. No, exactly. Hey, man. All I gotta say, just get past the 8th inning, give it to Clase, slam the door.
That's all you gotta do.
Dude, the Tigers pitched a bullpen game today.
That's not good.
It was.
And they still won.
Oh, they whooped that. It was 1 inning. Like they had 6 guys pitch.
Sick.
Well, that's great. That's really
Scooble's gonna come in dealing.
It sounds like he's not going to start till game 2, and then he would be available for game 5, potentially. So, but hey, as the great Jake Taylor would say, there's only one thing left to do: win the whole thing. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. We will have your Ohio State game day preview available for you on Friday morning. Again, that's going to be how it is moving forward. We want to make sure, again, over 100 people voted on having the episode out on Friday mornings moving forward. So that is what we are going to do. Hopefully you guys enjoy your Ohio State game day preview this week, but thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. We will talk to you guys all again soon. And as always, go Buckeyes.
Da, 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 da.